When I refer to this vehicle being full size, what all comes down to the overall numbers. This vehicle measuring in quite lengthy. Now what you got is about 145-inch wheelbase, overall length around about 231. Now another thing you need to talk about is ground clearance. Now this has a pretty good step into the vehicle, but they fixed that on this Platinum Edition with these hydraulic side rails. Now what you do, open the door and they're going to easily come out into place, really giving it ease of ingress into this vehicle. Now one thing to note, you need to fully close these doors for them to retract. Now another thing you need to know is getting into the cargo box. Obviously you can go around to the back, use the tailgate, use the rear bumper. We'll get into that in a minute. But when you're on the side, you want kind of maybe quick access. And one thing that helps with that is this nice new feature. And what it is, it's kind of a little step. You press right here, and it's going to come out. Now what's great with that, it's really hydraulic driven, really locks into place. There's no chance of it really shifting back inside. Now put one foot in there, either climb in, grab your gear and move on. Now one thing to note, it does take a little bit more oomph to actually put it back into place. That huge pronounced front end that's across the industry. Now Ford has replicated it here, really starting with huge horizontal slats, the huge Ford oval right there front and center, really kind of mixed in with a little bit of gray in between. Some other chrome accents, really low on the bumper and around the vehicle. Now as you sweep over to the headlights, this is a unique design for this F-150, really state-of-the-art and really separating it from the competition, giving it its own unique design. Now what I like about it is they use LED headlights. One last unique feature about the front headlights is the wraparound tube lighting that really kind of outlines that whole headlight assembly. Now this is going to give it a unique approach at night. What we have here on the F-150 is two V6 options, either the 2.7 liter EcoBoost or the as tested 3.5. Now what's great with the 3.5 is it's the best bang across the board, really even beating the 5.0 liter V8 standard engine. Now when you look at the horsepower numbers, what you've got is around about 365 horses and 420 foot-pounds of torque here on this particular model. Now that compared to the 5.0 liter V8, now that's going to deliver around about 385 horses and 370 foot-pounds of torque. Now when you step down to the 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6, well that's still decent horsepower, around about 325 and 375 foot-pounds of torque. Last but not least is the same 3.5 liter, but in the standard V6. Now it's going to have decent horsepower just the same, around 283 and 255 foot-pounds of torque. One way to realize this vehicle is the Platinum Edition, well, look no further than the huge chrome adornment at the back end. Now when you swing around this, well, this is the business end of any vehicle, specifically a truck. And what I like first is right here at the tailgate, there's a lot going on. First of which is the backup camera. Now what I like, and we'll see it in a minute when we get inside, is really that split huge 8-inch screen. It's going to give you that 360 view all the way around the vehicle and kind of a bird's eye view of this rear tailgate. Now what's even better, there is a magnification, which means you can isolate this camera specifically for that huge screen. There's a couple ways to kind of get into the back cargo area. We already talked about that kind of side step built in, but even better is this back bumper. Well, it has this kind of natural little dip that you've seen for decades and really a full-size step here. Now one feature we like that we find on this GMC Sierra, even the Chevy Silverado, is the steps kind of built into the side bumper. That does help a little bit on those, but just the same, you can use this here. Now when accessing the rear cargo, you're naturally going to drop the tailgate. Now this does have an electronic handle. There's no manual lift here, just press the button. Even better is it has the ease down technology. No reason this is going to bang into place, really kind of ease down and make it a lot smoother. Now another way to get into the rear cargo area is really hidden right here, and that is a back kind of ladder step. Now what that does is really swing into place, and it seems a little bit awkward looking at first, but it makes it a lot easier to get into this box. Now what I liked, well, really was the overall dimensions. What we have is just over 4 feet between the wheel houses, easily going to handle any plywood. As for the inside length, well, just about 5.5 feet long. Well, there's lights built in here and naturally the light up here. Anytime the rear tailgate's down, what's going to expose your items to being slung out the back, but one way to fix that is with this cargo kind of box extender. Now what it does is swing into place 2 different sections, and you're going to lock them in right here, really twisting these handles making it one big gate. But the way this really should be used is swinging up, rotate it into place, locking it down right here, and that's going to allow you to kind of put this items on the tailgate, really housing everything in a nice secure area. When it comes to safety, again, you do have the backup camera, but it doesn't hurt to have the backup sensors. Now, these are ultrasonic, really getting you into those tight spots. Even better is the cross-traffic awareness, something you're really going to need on a vehicle this big. Now, this is the Platinum Edition, and well, there's a lot of bells and whistles that go with it. The first of which is the heating and cooling feature. One area where they don't really measure cubic feet is, well, in the console area, because most times it's really not that big, but on this bad boy, it's humongous. Now, when you dive inside, well, it's pretty much going to house anything you can throw in there, maybe even small luggage. What I like is they do have this kind of little small tier that you can put up to hold small items. Otherwise, you can store purses, ladies' things, whatever. Lock this particular console and forget about it. For a huge truck, it's to be expected to have a huge steering wheel and really has all the controls you need at your fingertip. Now, the right side is really for entertainment, Bluetooth technology, volume controls, that kind of thing. On the left side, more for operation of the vehicle. And one thing I like is the adaptive cruise control. Really the ability to kind of set cruise, forget about it. As traffic kind of builds, it's going to slow down automatically. And you're going to use this button here to kind of set your space in between all the other vehicles. Now, this here is a different modes for the LCD screen. Let's dive in there and look at what that does. For the gauge cluster, you're going to find the old standard analog speed and tachometer, but you're going to find a huge digital readout in between. Now, if you want to fine-tune these selections, simply go through the numerous choices you have here. Now, one thing we did like is it gave you the ability to kind of monitor your towing, one of them being really the telescoping of this steering wheel. Now, this is power control, really allowing you to tilt, telescope with ease. Another button you want to know is right here. That's going to be kind of the lane departure. Now, we found this on another vehicle where you couldn't turn it off. This one you actually can. Kind of sets up the radar, so when you kind of go left or right, it's going to let you know. Another nice feature is the ability to adjust these kind of pedals down here. That's going to be a kind of an up and down arrow. Press it's going to bring them forward. Press it again, it's going to take them back. Again, accommodating various drivers. Now, before we dive in and look at the huge oversized screen, a couple more buttons to talk about, and really the traction control turn off is here, and the 360 view. Now, this is really great because on a lot of vehicles, you're not getting that front view like you see here, allowing you to kind of get in those tight spots and really monitor what's up in front just the same all the way around. Now, you can hit that a couple times. It's going to go through the different functions. Now, one thing I like is the quadrant view that you have here on the touch screen. Now, this is really not across the board on all vehicles. Most of the time, you're going to get one screen. You have to cycle through them. This one's going to give you a lot of information at one time. And again, if you want to kind of get in close, simply press on that quadrant. It's going to go full screen. If you want to go back, simply hit the home button. Now, below is just kind of a minimized buttons that relate to the stereo. I like the fact we have huge oversized knobs, and these are really referring to your presets. Now, when we scroll down and look at the climate control, this is maybe where it gets a little more cumbersome. Now, it's really easy to figure out the different modes. You got the max AC, something I really use a lot, and you do have dual climate up front. Nice knob use here. One thing that was missing was really a fan speed knob. Instead, you really had these buttons down here, kind of maybe a little daunting to find when you're going down the road, but once you get used to this one minimal kind of button and one little issue, really everything operated just fine. Underneath the dash, really this kind of cover here is going to hide a little niche, and what's down there? Well, a lot of connectivity. You're going to have the two USB outlets, a line in, and of course the SD reader and a power supply. Now, this has a nice padded area down here. Really a good place to put your electronics, connect them up, and forget about it. It's called cup holders. Now, we have two right here between the front occupants. We have two more towards the back end of the center console up front as well, plus one in each door. Now, for backseat passengers, they can reach the ones kind of positioned towards the back of the console, or they have their own too in that flip down elbow support. It's not often to find kind of an open air feel in any truck. Well, they definitely put it in here. Now, what you're going to find really is a screen first, and that's going to give you just a kind of a view of the stars up above, or a nice sunny day like we have here. Now, this screen will stop midway, or you can open it up like we see. Even better, if you want to kind of give that open air feel, well, simply take this glass and slide it back. Now, it's going to give you a lot of airflow and really turn this truck more into a two-door convertible. Once you're in the back seat, well, this is where it's going to get cramped in any truck. Well, everything but the F-150, because there's plenty of leg room wherever you sit. Now when you look at the numbers, well, they're equal, just about 44 inches up front and just a hair less in kind of the mid 43 inches in the back. Even better, great vent circulation, really focused right in the center of the vehicle, blowing plenty of air back in the back. What that's going to allow you to do is have a lot more ease of operation when it comes to the power opening system here. Now what you'll see also is this one uniform defrost system. Better yet on this, well, one tug going to transform this area into one huge vast space. Now what I like is the fact that you have these little walls here just the same. This is going to be a place where you can put items that are going to stay in here maybe all the time, tools, what have you. But if you need a nice open floor area, well, this is going to deliver it.